This was the moment spectators fled from a Paris concert hall which had come under terrorist attack. Escaping from back exits, running past bodies to escape, after at least 4 men dressed in black and armed with Kalashnikovs had opened fire at random inside. Some survived by hanging from windows, others cowered under seats, while the French-speaking gunmen reloaded and fired several times. Some, desperate to escape, managed to drag bodies with them as they sought safety. One man who had been injured is seen stumbling and falling, but he keeps on running for his life.
The concert had started about half an hour before. We heard firecracker noises and we turned around and saw 2 people with machine guns firing into the crowd. So we all laid on the ground. There was panic, screams.
I saw 2 young men, no older than 25, with Kalashnikovs. They told us to lie down. We all lay down, the whole room lay down. It was completely under other people, and the attackers just kept shooting.
After midnight, French police began their armed assault, knowing that the gunmen were holding hostages and likely to kill more of them. The streets were thick with panic and chaos. At least 3 of the attackers ending their carnage by blowing themselves up. This morning, forensics experts identified one of the attackers as a French national known to French intelligence. And while armed police kept the crowds back, everywhere a sense of helplessness at violence which caught the security services completely off guard. Grey funeral vans took away some of the scores of dead. This attack only a few hundred meters from the killing of satirical journalists back in January.
Everybody is shocked. My daughter and her husband and my little daughter are living 500 meters from here. So of course I don't think about me, but I think about them. Yesterday night I was thinking about them, of course.
While President Hollande called this an act of war by Daesh, also known as Islamic State. Less than a mile away from the concert hall, gunmen opened fire on diners in restaurants enjoying a Friday night out. At least 18 people were reported killed at several locations. Islamic State took to the internet to call these attacks miracles and what it called the first of the storm. To those who witnessed them, this was a nightmare beyond comprehension.
There were lots of dead bodies on the ground. At that moment, you can't tell if this is real or fiction, a movie. Whatever the case, a lot of people are dead.
This afternoon, people laid flowers on top of sawdust, which had itself been laid to absorb the pavement blood. A state of emergency here, and for many, a new state of fear.
I think it's really a feeling of fear today, and of and I know that we don't have to be afraid, but it's when you see this in front of your house, you are afraid. So that's a shame, but that's the reality, and it's horrible.
Many Parisians are walking about as if in a daze. There's a look of complete incomprehension on their faces. They thought they knew what terrorism was, but last night they discovered a new and terrible definition of indiscriminate killing on an appalling scale. At the National Football Stadium, a game between France and Germany was called off after fans heard at least 2 suicide explosions outside. One victim was killed. Another man said he would have been if he hadn't been holding his mobile phone to his ear so that it took the impact of flying debris instead.
I was crossing the street and straight away, boom, it exploded right in front of me. Everything was blown to bits and I felt stuff flying around. This is the cell phone that took the hit. It's what saved me.
Some of the departing French fans kept their spirits up with the national anthem, but the usual symbols of French defiance, tried and tested back in January, might seem inadequate to some now. because patriotism alone will not keep France safe from scenes like this. And there may be more such scenes if accomplices to these attacks are still on the loose. Police leave has been cancelled and 1,500 troops have been drafted into the Paris region. The Eiffel Tower was today closed to the public because the old truism that a nation is safest after a big terrorist attack has been shown not to be true here. Jonathan Rugman, Channel 4 News, Paris.